So you're on your spiritual evolution, knowing who you are, honoring yourself, exploring your path, your life, experiencing you, experiencing synchronicity, and suddenly out of the blue of the universe, bam, a catalyst comes and shakes you up, perhaps rattles you, and literally shocks the shit out of you. It shocks and shakes up the unneeded, unnecessary bullshit shat lurking somewhere unresolved with default destructive behavior and self-sabotaging thoughts to be addressed, healed, and erased from your being. Well, welcome to another spiritual awakening. And this particular spiritual awakening is called the Dark Night of the Soul. This is not to be feared, for it is necessary to resolve the unresolved within before you may proceed in a healthy, joyous, loving way on your path. Soul, I ask you to gently guide me to step into alignment with my authentic self. The Dark Night of the Soul. This is a process many spiritual seekers may go through at some point in their lives. It's not mentioned much in spiritual texts and teachings, because we're always asked to look at the light and be happy and see the positive in life. But none of it is ever lasting until you've looked and embraced your shadow. Those hidden parts of you that you've shamed and denied, it's time to look at them and bring them to light, or they act out of default by not being dealt with. The dark night of the soul is where a person's ego and false self is dying to their higher self, their true self. This usually happens after a spiritual seeker has attained a lot of spiritual growth, and it pushes the ego out, because the ego is being called out for what it falsely is, and it tightens its grip to hide you from the light that you are. And the dark only grows larger the more you ignore it. And with the dark night of the soul, it's a buildup of pain from unresolved issues and years and times and decades and even lifetimes, perhaps. It depends on what you feel is true for you. You know, some think they've done something wrong when the symptoms of the dark night of the soul appear, like depression, anxiety, sadness, feeling stuck and feeling like you can't get out of it. But just hold on, you know? You haven't done anything wrong, especially since, there's been so much spiritual growth. There's nothing to feel bad about. You've got so much light in you, it pushes the old out. It's actually a sacred rite of passage and spiritual detox. The pain you feel is pain that you tried to suppress for years or lifetimes, and it's coming up to be healed by the love that you give it. Symptoms that come up regarding the dark night of the soul are frustration, anxiety, depression, sadness, hopelessness, fatigue, tiredness, loss of appetite, loss of sleep, too much appetite, just things that distract you, restlessness, and these feelings are trying to get your attention, like a child does, and they say, hey, feel me whenever I come up, please, give me attention, give me love, please embrace me, don't push me away. And the dark night of the soul is the opportunity to clear these once and for all, and these are the heaviest ones, the ones from a very long time ago, the ones that have been suppressed with shame and guilt and fear. These want to come up and be healed and embraced by you, and a new way will be found from this growth, trust me. When you are aware of the process from this point of view, then you can take a step back and let the spiritual process move on its own accord through you, naturally. And the reason why we find ourselves in the dark night of the soul is because we are learning again trust, acceptance, love, and surrender. Instead of reacting by default out of fear and all of the ways from the painful past and painful memories to be cleared once and for all, is to learn again trust, acceptance, love, and surrender in place of the old behaviors. The first step to getting out of the dark night of the soul is to recognize that this is a natural spiritual process that you are going through, where the ego is dying, naturally, and yes, it is painful. So please, with that, know that you didn't do anything wrong. Next step is to do nothing. This is the surrender process. During this process, the ego will come up, and it'll be starved. So it'll try to trick you out of your alignment. It'll try to make you have worry, doubt, and fear and all kinds of things. And this is where you need to take another step back and observe those things for what they are. Don't be afraid of them. Look at them with love and embrace them, and know that you don't have to worry about them. You can face them and they will dissolve. So if a thought comes up, simply look at it. If a feeling comes up, simply feel it. Please just love and embrace every thought, feeling, and situation that you are resisting. And be aware that you're resisting them, and that's the way you move through them, by embracing them. To just be is to surrender to your higher self, and that is the true death of the ego, because the ego is holding on, and if you surrender, the ego doesn't know what to do, and it will freak out and die. So to do nothing in this context means to simply just be. Be the awareness and love that you naturally are, as that observer when things come up. And your higher self truly knows that nothing can hurt you, nothing can harm you, nothing can shake you. Use the opportunity of the dark night of the soul to face and dissolve the darkness and the hidden aspects of shadow once and for all, to shine love on them and to shine the truth of who you really are on them, to surrender to your higher self. And that is the exit of the dark night of the soul.